Hello, welcome or welcome back if you've been to my channel before. My name is Bryn. I am transgender and non-binary, and I make videos about those topics. Today I wanted to talk about something that I have tried to film this video for months and I cannot get the words down in a way that I feel like communicates effectively. So hopefully this is the time that it works. But I wanted to talk about both gender and sex being social constructs. People always have an opinion on this kind of stuff. And so I wanted to, I feel like it can't be wrapped up into like one sentence, which is why I'm making a video. A little bit of background information before I start, because I will probably be using like my own experiences. I was assigned male at birth and raised as a boy. I'm non-binary, I am transgender, and I consider myself to be trans-androgynous or trans-neutral. So I got a comment, it was like a few months ago, and I said like basically that same speech that I just put, and someone commented and they were like, your gender was not assigned at birth, it was observed, and it was like all dramatic. And, or maybe they just like said it and I took it dramatically, but I was like trying to explain what I was trying to say and I couldn't figure out how to word it, so I just disliked the comment. But I think that it is a topic that I would like to talk about because I don't think there's a lot of things that need to be said and I can't just say it in one sentence. And I'm also curious as to what everyone else thinks, because I think like what I think is obviously based off of my own experience and the world around me, and obviously the world around you is different and your experience is different. So if you have opposing views or you agree or blah blah blah, let me know, because I'm always curious to see what people think. So I do believe that for the most part that gender is a social construct, and by that to go deeper into that instead of just leaving it at that, I think I think that my gender is my gender, and I don't think that it has been influenced by, well, oh, see, this is why I'm so bad with the words. So the way that I feel internally about my gender and who I am in terms of gender, that feeling has been there, I believe, since before anything external happened. I feel like it is a part of me that has existed in the same way that my creativity has existed and my enjoying to talk to everybody has existed, and like all these, I guess you could almost label it as like a personality trait type of thing. Not exactly, but that's a close metaphor, I guess. It's like the best one I can come up with. I feel like it's a part of me, but I feel like the way that we talk about gender, the words that we use, like the term non-binary, clearly is socially constructed. All language is socially constructed. The way that we see gender is socially constructed. The fact that I live in America, and in our culture, it's pretty much understood that there's male and female, but there's other cultures that believe in more genders and experience more genders, and there's, you know, it's different culture to culture because it's a social, oh my god, why? Construct. Thank you. A social construct. I think the fact that I wear this and I feel androgynous is based off of the social norms around me. The fact that I have hair like this that makes me feel androgynous is the same fact. The fact that even androgyny exists is because it's the balance, like the word androgyny, I don't know if you knew this, but andro means like masculine or male, and then gyny means feminine or female. So like literally the word means like male, female, or masculine, feminine. Like it's a balance between the two, and the fact that this to me feels like a balance between the two is based off of the way that I see the two that already exist, basically. And so I think that a lot of what, I think that gender at its core is not a social construct, at least for me. I think that, I think if you ask certain people, they would say that all around gender is a social construct, and I think that that's totally valid if that's how they feel about their gender. But I think for me, like, I do think that my gender would always be the same, but the way that it impacts our lives, the way that we view it, the way that we express it, the way that we talk about it, everything that actually encompasses gender is a social construct. So even, well, here, take this for example. I always say I was assigned male at birth, whereas some other trans people, like a trans woman, might say, I used to be a boy. And both of those things are the way that we view ourselves. I say that I was assigned male at birth because I don't feel like I ever was male. I feel like I was born with a penis, and the doctors and the society that I live in said, well, because you have a penis, that makes you a boy. I'm not denying the fact that I was born with a penis, but the idea that having a penis makes you a boy is a social construct, and I think it's a dumb social construct. So no, I don't, like, sometimes I'll simplify and be like, oh, back when I was a boy, but I don't actually look at myself and think I used to be a boy, because I never saw it that way. I don't think that I ever, at my core, was a boy. I think I had a body that people around me interpreted as a boy, and then I was raised in a way that was similar to other people who were assumed to be boys because of their genitals. But at my core, I never was one. And I think people have a hard time understanding that because, oh, you're denying biology. But it's not that I'm denying biology, it's just that I'm saying that the way that we interpret these things is constructed by humans, and I think that the way that people are interpreting my body is incorrect. And I think that the idea that people with specific bodies reflect certain genders is also incorrect, or automatically reflect certain genders. You know, there's people, I mean, look at it, even if you take the whole trans situation out of it, okay, if everyone in the world was cisgender, you still have people who, let's take women for example, you'd have women who would say, I'm a woman and she has her hair cut, versus a woman who has her hair long. You have women who like to wear makeup and women who don't. You have women who have had breast cancer and have had their breasts removed versus women who have had breast implants. Like, but all these things are still encompassed of women because these women are saying, well, this is who I am. I don't need long hair to be a woman. I don't need to wear makeup to be a woman. I don't, you know, the things that make me a woman are X, Y, and Z. And it probably is different per person. You know, there are some people who probably don't feel like they're truly a woman. Like a trans person might not feel like she's truly a woman until she has SRS or something like that. And if that's how she feels, that's okay. But I think, to say that trans people are denying biology by not sharing their birth sex, or by using terms like assigned male at birth versus I was born male, you know, it's all a matter of perception, and anything that can be changed with perception is something that is socially constructed. So the matter of the fact is not I was born a boy, which, like, if people want to say that, whatever, like, I don't even care, but I'm not gonna say that. But like, if, for me, what being a boy means is that your soul, or like whatever you want to say, is male, and mine is not, and it never was. My body has nothing to do with that. So that's how I feel. And probably a lot of trans people would agree with me. There's probably some that wouldn't, which is, again, it's fine. And like, I think that people should use whatever language makes them feel comfortable. You know, there's some people who feel really, you know, proud and really confident to say, I used to be a boy and now I'm not. And if that's how they feel, like, that's fine. But I think the definition of what it means to be a man or a woman or non-binary or anything like that, all those definitions are socially constructed. Because you ask one person, what does it mean to be a man? Some people will be like, you have a penis. Ask another person what it's like to be a man, what it means to be a man, and it's, oh, you know, there's like, you know, everyone has a different answer because everyone has a different perspective of what gender is, because it's a construct. It's not set in stone. It's not. It's really not. And like, you can even ask, if you're talking about trans people, you can ask people, okay, so at what point does someone transitioning, say, male to female, at what point does that person go from being male to being female? Some people would say, well, as soon as she realizes she identifies as a woman, then she's a woman. Some people would say, well, only once she has surgery or only once she has hormones. When I was in high school, I had a friend of mine who was a trans guy, and one of my other friends was trying to like raise money so that he could get top surgery, and she went to a different friend in our class and was asking if he would donate, and he was like, well, I'm not gonna call him a guy until he has this surgery and changes his name and all this stuff. And to me, that's ridiculous. That to me, that's the same thing, and this guy was actually gay. I was like, that's the same thing as me telling you you're not gay unless you're dating a man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to prove it. Like, you have to actively be gay to be gay. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, but anyways, like, everyone has a different perspective of what gender means, and it's socially constructed. And I believe the same with your biological sex. When people say that you're denying biology, it doesn't mean that. I'm focusing on gender instead of my body. People can call my body whatever they want. They can, you know, I don't care. I mean, I probably do. If you're like a close friend of mine, I probably really care about the words that you use for me. But like strangers, I don't care. But I think people, I feel like I'm not centered. For like the whole video, I wasn't centered. Oh my God. Gender is all perceptive. It's not so black and white, I feel like. I feel like nothing is black and white. I feel like everyone tries to make every single thing ever black and white. And I feel like 9 times out of 10, most things are gray areas or things that are subject to change or change person to person. And really, if you think about anything, like, everything's a social construct. Like, literally everything. Like, so, I don't know. But that's just my little take on gender being a social construct, because I don't like the comments that are like, you're denying biology. I don't know why. Like, that specific, like, I don't think anyone's actually commented that on my videos, but like, that specific comment like makes me so mad, because nobody is denying biology. They're just shifting the language that we use to describe it, I guess, or like when I say that I wasn't born a boy, I'm not talking about biology at all. I'm talking about, like, I know what my body looked like when I was born. And yes, that in itself is a fact. The fact that we label that as being male, the fact that we take that and say that the gender is male too, you know, that the body is male, the gender is male, all because of a penis, is just kind of weird. Like, truly, I just feel like that's strange. Like, why? Why is that? Like, it's just, I don't get it. And I think too, and this is something, I think if gender wasn't a part of our daily lives, okay? If it didn't play a part in the way that you interact with other people, if it didn't play a part in the things that you wear and the way that you talk and the way that you walk and the jobs you're supposed to have and like all these different things that people connect gender to, if gender really was almost as similar as like a personality trait, like as I was saying in the beginning, then like it wouldn't matter. But it only matters because it matters. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that's important because it affects so many parts of life. But if humans completely decided that gender shouldn't play a part in anything, I feel like it probably wouldn't really play a part in anything. So the idea that gender is even important, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, because to clarify, I don't think that, like, I would never say, oh, it does, like, don't stress about your gender, it doesn't matter. It does matter because it affects so many parts of your life because of the way that society is. But if it didn't affect every part of your life, it would just be like another thing. Like, it would be almost the same as, like, your favorite color. Like, it's a thing that is, like, special to you, and it's unique and specific to who you are. But, like, if you wake up tomorrow and you decide your favorite color is blue instead of green, it's not going to change anything, except for maybe you might buy blue t-shirts instead of green ones. Like it's not a contributing factor to your interactions in your daily life. And I think that gender is a contributing factor to your interactions in your daily life because everyone puts so much importance on it. But if there was no importance on it from anyone, then we could all just relax and we could all just be happy doing whatever we want to do, and it would just be so much easier. But we ain't there yet. Really quick before I move on, I do just want to say another reason why I don't think that gender itself is socially constructed, but that gender norms and the way that we gender other people and the way that we perceive gender and all that kind of stuff is socially constructed. But I've talked about this before, but I have dysphoria over my genitals, and I always have from the time that I can. And I believe that the dysphoria that I have over my genitals is based on the programming in my brain that has been there for my entire life. I don't believe that it was something that was learned, like, okay, for example, I was being raised a boy, and I noticed the connection that people think I'm a boy because I have a penis, so I don't like my penis because it makes people think that I'm a boy. Like, I guess that's a part of it, but it's, my brain naturally thinks that I have a vagina, and then I don't. And I'll probably make a whole video on that, because that's kind of, there's a lot to unpack there, but I think that the way that my brain is wired and has been wired ever since I started forming or whatever is that my brain believes that I am meant to have a vagina, and I don't. I think that ideally, I think we would live in a world where people were not gendering other people based on anything besides someone telling them their gender. I think, yeah, deconstructing what it means to be a man or woman, I think that's a really good and powerful thing. But I don't think that it would necessarily alleviate all dysphoria that exists. And that's because I believe that your gender at your core is a part of you and not something that was created through your society, basically, I guess. Or at least that's how I feel about my gender. I don't want to, like, obviously put words in other people's mouths if they feel differently about theirs, but that's just my experience with mine, and how I like to explain it. I think that's everything that I wanted to say regarding that. Which I'm surprised that came out actually a lot easier than the other times I've tried to film this video. Like, this is literally probably like the 12th time I've tried to film this, because I just, after like 3 words, I'm like, I don't know what I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. If you think of money, okay, that is a social construct as well, okay? This is actually a really good analogy. I'm so proud of myself. Hopefully I can say it right. But money is a piece of paper that everyone in America, like, because we're just talking about American money, everyone in America decided that the piece of paper with the number 1 on it equated to $1. And everyone in America decided how much $1 is worth. Okay, that's why money changes. Like, you hear, like, old people, they're like, oh, back in my day, I could get a loaf of bread for a dime. Like, because money has changed. Because it's not set in stone. And the idea that that dollar bill is worth $1 is truly only worth $1 because everyone in America agrees that it's worth $1. And if everyone in America said, screw money, why don't we just trade lobsters instead, then money would be useless. It'd be a piece of paper. But I can't just go and be like, oh, well, money doesn't matter because it's all made up. Because it does matter. plays a significant part in everybody's life. And it's the same thing with gender, that you can't just say, oh, well, it doesn't matter, we shouldn't focus on it. Oh, well, I think that overall, the society should not focus on it, but I don't like the comments that are like, oh, you shouldn't focus on your gender because it really doesn't matter. Because it does. There are real effects of gender playing out, whether you're trans or not. Even if you're just like a cis person that's just like, you know, existing your entire life. Like if you woke up the next day and instead of being a man, you were a woman, your life would be different. You would be treated differently. You'd be talked to differently. All this kind of stuff, because gender plays a part in society. But that doesn't mean that it's set in stone, and it doesn't mean that it always has to be that way. So I think that's what I was trying to say. I think that's everything. Thank you for listening. I hope you all have a great day.